Hello Ace, this is RetroTK2 and today we're back making our Pokemon ROM hack. Last time, if you remember, we set it up so that we could actually cheat in our game. So if I go over here, click on our little Pokeball and go into here, you'll see that we have absolutely zero cheats because apparently it actually resets, which is a real pain. But if I go into here, do our 600, start our search, and go to here, we can add in a cheat to change these values, Ace. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. So that's cool. Today, what I want to do is get into ASM. And in order to get into ASM, we've got to look at something called VBA-SD. I think it's SDL-H. I might be getting this completely wrong, Ace, but we'll have a little look at SDL-H. Perfect. And this is the one that we want. So I'm going to go on and download this. I believe it is just in the Pokemon ROM hack utilities. And this hopefully should be exactly what we're looking for. So if I go to download the file now, we now have to copy and paste the following and put it into the password. I am a human, and hopefully we will get our nice shiny new packages. So here we are, we've got the VBA-SDL-H. If I go to extract all, and I'm going to put that on my desktop because I am cool. Go to select, go to extract, and then brilliant. Okay, cool. So let's go and put this into our, oh no. Oh, I've done that again, Ace. Okay, cool. So let's go and put this into VBA-SDL-H. Put it in its own folder, Ace. Now what this is basically is it's a modified version of Visual Boy Advance that will allow us to put breakpoints in our code. I know, Ace, a little bit confusing, especially if you don't actually know what breakpoints are, but really a breakpoint is, it allows us to stop the code at a specific point on execution and step through it. Yeah, again, fair enough. You're probably still pretty confused about that one, Ace, so let's get stuck into it. Okay, I want to put this into our programs folder and I'll paste it into here. I don't know whether it's a good idea to keep this in the programs folder, Ace, or actually put it in the ROMs folder. Well, we'll see. We'll see. So now what I'm going to do, Ace, is just open up our ROMs folder, go back into our programs folder and click on VBA-SDL-H. Okay, so what we can do, and this is going to possibly look a little bit confusing to you, is we can drag our GBA file onto Visual Boy Advance SDL-H.exe, and it should run our game. Now it'll come up with a very scary command line, and also will come up with this. Now I must admit, Ace, mine really is quite temperamental, doesn't quite load, but if I right click on here, it for whatever reason will load in the game. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure what's going on there either, Ace, but yeah, it seems to work fine. Now the problem is that I don't have my save states, and there is a way to do it so that you do have save states. So I am unfortunately going to have to quit out of this, and yeah, this can be a bit temperamental as well, Ace. It says it's shutting down, doesn't respond. You're clicking on the command line and then it goes away. Yep, it can be temperamental, but this is what we're dealing with. Okay, so let's go into state 2. Let's go over to here and let's create a save on our actual ROM. Pewter City, would you like to save? Yep, please override that save file. Fantastic. Okay, so now if I exit out of this game and then do our same thing again. By the way, this is the actual ROM I'm using this. So this save is pretty much the one that I just completely made. So now if I click on this, it should hopefully have the exact same save file that we've just created. There's being temperamental again, Ace. So hopefully we can just dip straight into Pewter City with any luck. Yes, perfect. Okay, so now if I press A and take a look into our Pokeballs. Now, here's the big question is, fair enough, that's great, but now what? What are we doing? Okay, so if I press F11, you'll see that our program stops and we go into this debugger mode, and then we get an awful lot of gibberish back from our compiler. This is talking about, remember the registries that I mentioned last time? Now I didn't actually go into super duper detail with them, Ace, but this is, if I was going to describe what these are like, it would probably be best to actually follow the tutorials that they use. So we won't go too much into there at the moment. But what we will go into is breakpoints. So I want to go into breakpoints. So let's have a look at VBA-SDL tutorial. And I believe it was this one. There's all sorts of different ones, yes. The PokemonCommunity.com, by the way, I would definitely recommend checking out, yes. It is brilliant and a very, very good source of information to look into. And unfortunately, don't think I'm going to get a chance. I am going to get a chance. There it is there. So breakpoint on read and breakpoint on write. What in the underline of goodness does that mean? Well, basically, yes, we can set a breakpoint in our code that will break at that specific location. If you remember the location last time, can I remember the location last time? I don't actually think that I can. So I'm going to start up our ROM, go back into here and press A on there, sorry, yes. Go into cheats, search for cheats, go here, type in 600, start the search, search for our actual address. And now this is going to break the code, not break in terms of actually break it is, but it is going to break into this debugger whenever we try and read this variable. Now, the time that we'll read this variable will probably be whenever we press start here, which is whenever we're going to start our stack trace. Yeah, this is pretty heavy duty stuff, is so certainly don't be too scared about it, especially if you don't understand what's going on. If you type C on the debugger, now it will resume the game. I can move around and do all that fun stuff. Now if I press A on this, it doesn't break. But if I press start, it doesn't break either. What have I done wrong? That should be doing that, is. No, I would not like to exit the Safari zone. Unless I've completely messed up, which is very, very, very possible, is. I'm almost certain that I've done this correct. Okay, hang on. Let's have a little look again. Okay, well, let's try BPR. BPR doesn't sound right. No, BPR is right. BPW. Okay, let's try BPW. BPW is the ones that I've been using. BPW. So this is one that will actually write to this address whenever we... So hopefully it should actually break whenever we reach this address. And yeah, that should hopefully all work. Goodness me, yes. An awful lot of painstakingly, well, pain. So if I press A on here, no. Okay. Times like this here is, I just quit out of the game and maybe just assume that it was a problem with the fact that I loaded up the other Visual Boy Advance, which possibly has confused it. Maybe. We'll see. We'll see. F11. Okay, let's go back into the debugger. BPR02. Oh my goodness, have I forgot the address again? 02. I am an idiot. Yes. Okay, right. We're going to open up Notepad. After all those failed attempts, we are going to open up Notepad. We're going to press X on this, and then we're going to open up our Unity. Go into state 2. Go into here. Oh, the life of a ROM hacker is. So let's go in and search for cheats, just like we've done about a million times before. Search 600. Search. Okay, so there is our address. And let's type in 02039996. Perfect. And we want to break BPR at that. Let's copy that. Let's exit out of this. Let's open up this. Let's open up this. Let's drag this onto here and let's get stuck in. Okay, here we go, yes. Right click on here. For whatever reason, it's the only thing it understands. And let's get stuck in. Yeah, here's another thing that's been happening to me is I don't really quite understand why this keeps resetting the save. I'm not sure what's going on there. I'm not actually 100% sure what's going on. Maybe it's something to do with the actual save state, the way that the save states work in the actual Visual Boy Advance. I'm not sure. Maybe it could be something to do with me not using the correct config files or not sharing the config files between them. But, well, for whatever reason, we need to go into here and make a new save. Yes, please, override it. Perfect. Okay, so now if we quit the game, go back into here, and then reload our game, we should, hopefully, be able to get back to the point that we saved at, and more importantly, be able to break into the point in our game. So let's F11 this. Let's right click, go to edit and paste that BPR and that address. Okay, brilliant. I tell you what, I'm actually also going to add in a BPW as well, so that even if we write to this address, then it will also remember that as well. So break on read and the break on the write. Okay, so press C and let's commence the game. Are we going to work? I don't think we did. What a disaster is. I have no idea what I'm doing wrong, but I am doing something wrong. You can be sure of that. Okay, let's go and have a little look again. Oh, for goodness sakes. Shush. Here's the actual ASM tutorial, but I know it's a little bit unrelated at the moment, Ace, but while I'm looking through here, this is the actual Safari Zone tutorial that I followed to actually find all of our values that we were looking for. I believe 1C is what he was using for the hexadecimal for it, but I just stick with the unsigned for me. Yes, I prefer that. And as you can see, he even gives us the actual correct address that we have to use in memory. Now, I have no idea. It could be is, do you know what the problem is? I think, no, it should all be working. It should be working. So, oh, I'm an idiot, yes, of course. Okay, so what we actually have to do is put in the integer at the end. Oh dear. So this is how many bytes we're actually going to read. Yeah, I know it's a little bit confusing, and I must admit, well, it's like the blind leading the blind at the minute here, is because, well, I'm not exactly 100% sure about it either. Now, the way that I'm going to word it is that this little integer at the end here is how many bytes are going to be read ahead. So pretty much how many lines I want to say, although it may not be entirely accurate to say that, but we're going to go with 20 for the moment. Anyways, bear with me. I promise I'm trying. Okay, so edit, paste, whenever it does a read. So what I'm expecting is for this to pause. No, I tell you what, we will do the debugger as well, F11, and then we will go to here and do BPW, because I also kind of want to do it on the right as well. So whenever I hit that Pokeball, I want it to instantly break. Is it going to break? Hey. And as you can see, we break into the code. Now that is exceptionally annoying, so we're going to open up the volume mixer and we're going to turn this right down. Good. Very good. Okay, so now what I want to do is start a trace. Trace, start, hit enter, and hit C. Boom. We're in. Perfect. And now, if I click back onto this, you'll see that it re-breaks again. Click C, go again, re-breaks again, but we're actually into the game. Okay, perfect. So now, as you can see, even whenever we're moving, we're constantly breaking this, which is brilliant. Press C again, press C again, press C again, and now we can break into the game. Oh, it's actually trying to break anyway itself. Press trace, click stop, and I believe we can actually exit the game now and have a little look at the spoils. So as you can see now in our ROM folder, we have a trace.log. Now this is the default location that it will go to, yes, whenever we do it. So if I do edit in Notepad, you'll see that we get out a bucket load of information, assembly language. We get the registries, all the registries, whatever the heck they are. I'll go into them possibly in this tutorial, maybe definitely in the next tutorial. And yeah, as you can see, yes, this is this is it. This is assembly language. So let's do a Control F and let's try and find that address. So what we're trying to do is trying to find this address here. So as you can see, yes. So as you can see, it's been loaded into the registry, which we will go into in a little bit more. I kind of want to show you the dollar version of it though. Fine, next, okay, cool. So this is us actually loading in this value at this registry, which is of course 600, loading it in to registry 1. As you can see on the next line, it's set there. Now, not loading in the value at that, it's more the actual registry itself. On this line, we are subtracting R0, the value stored at registry 0, which I am surprised to see that it's that. I would have thought it would be 1. No, sorry. Sorry, yes. I'm a buffoon. What's happening here is that we are loading this into R1. Then from here, we are loading, I don't know if we are loading 1 into, no, we are loading this value into R1, the actual value at this address, which is 0258. And if we go into here, in our PKSV, go to hex to deck, and then type in whatever the heck that was, 0258. I believe it should come out like the 500 mark, 600, perfect, 600 dead. So that's our steps values is. So if we go back into here, you'll see we get the actual 600 value. Then with this, you can see why I don't really like assembly is. It can be quite tricky. So with this, we're loading it into memory, as we do here, or as you can see with here. And then with this, we are subtracting 1 from that value here, because we've moved, essentially. And there it is, there is 0257, as we should probably all know, is actually 599. So what does that tell us is not an entire lot, to be honest. It's good to know that you can subtract and do all that fun stuff with assembly. I suppose I could probably go in and talk about what assembly actually is, although I don't necessarily want to get stuck in too deep on that stuff yet. I am happy that I have shown you VBA-SDL-H. This is going to be an extremely helpful piece of software for us. Actually, I tell you what, I will go and show you some of the other cool things you can do with it. Although actually, I think I've pretty much maxed out on all the cool things that I know how to do with it. But let's have commands. So really the ones that look out for us are C, which allows us to continue from our debug, and F11, the shortcut which allows us to allows us to go into the debug mode. And as you can see, it'll output the actual registries. BPR and BPW, which allows us to go and search different addresses. So I tell you what, let's go and, while we're here, let's go and break into this address. So this address is our, well, I want to say it's our BPR. It's the actual address for the script. So whenever the actual script is executed, then it will break into there. So BPR, I don't know if it's BPR, would it be read, would it be call? Might be BT actually that we want to do, but we'll go with BPR and see if it works anyway, yes. And sure, if it doesn't, then we can try something else. So now if I go into here and do a control edit paste, BPR at our address, and then click C, press enter, you'll see that we go back to here and yeah, our game of course is running, which is brilliant. And then we go back into our point and press A, you'll see our debugger breaks here. Yes. So now if I started a stack trace here, this would actually be it would include all of our, I want to say it would include our full script as it's being executed. So pretty much what's going to be run in assembly. I don't know whether it's going to really help us that much, yes, but it could give us some useful insights. So I'll do a trace start. Might actually be a good idea to rename this file here. Stack trace previous. And then we can go back into here and let it start a new one. And then you can also use N, and N allows us to step pretty much through the actual code. Now, I must admit, I'm not 100% sure exactly what's going on here. Like I say that is, I do actually know a little bit about it, and maybe it's not exactly entirely fair to say that I don't know what I'm doing. If I go into here and go into edit with Notepad, you'll see that we are actually stepping through the code at a number of bytes at a time. So based on here, we are stepping forward a certain level, which is pretty nifty, I must admit. It's pretty cool actually being able to go down through here and see what's going on. Also, what's pretty nice is that we can actually go and have a look at these. So, okay, so BL, I believe, is whenever a script is called. Okay, so if I go back into PKR, press X on this, go to Tools, go to Script Search, no, not quite, ROM decompile, and then type in this, it will decompile that script. Jump SD, that, which isn't exactly all that helpful is, but I mean, it is brilliant to see that we can actually go in and decompile these scripts as we see their addresses, which is pretty cool. This take from Coinbase as well is, I don't have a clue what that's doing. I haven't seen it mentioned in many places, but, well, but there you go. And if I do another N, hopefully our trace will go forward. Maybe I haven't gone forward enough. If I do another N, nope, not quite. N. Nope, still nothing is. Okay, let's stop the trace. Trace, stop. Perfect. Yes, please. And as you can see, we've moved forward a little bit more. Again, yes, doesn't necessarily help us all that much, but it is good to see that we can go in and actually trace down through our code, see what our registers are doing, and do all that fun stuff. Next episode, I'm going to go into a lot more detail about what assembly actually is, but it's good to see how we can break into it, how we can actually get a big load of it out, and some of the very, very basic, the sub and all that stuff, the BL, actually calling the script is pretty useful too. But really the main part of this tutorial is this VBA-SDL-H. Is if you're going to do any sort of ROM hacking with Pokémon, it seems to be the go-to program to get. So definitely check it out. And that'll do certainly for this episode. So yeah, rate, comment, and subscribe, yes. I hope you're enjoying this series. We're getting into super duper technical stuff now, yes, with the ASM, but well, it seems like this is what is required, because without this, we don't have a ROM hack. You can email me at retro2k2@gmail.com if you can give me any tutorials about ASM. Thank you for watching this, and I'll see you in the next video.